can't stop playing in my fucking hair. Oh, hey, hi.
Oh, you gonna show him? Oh, show him. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That actually hurt my lower back a little bit. That's how you know you're doing it right.
There's a lot of kickback.
Yeah. I was checking to make sure it like just, you know, you got to leave theater of the mind. You don't know what the rest of the butt's doing. Just enough popping up. Your boy got a little wagon. Whatever.
Yeah, this is okay. So now this is like regular DTF because it started with twerking.
Yeah. You know, as we get accustomed to this pre-apocalyptic future, we might as well figure out how to do the things that we used to do. If we change how we behave, then the terrorists win. Just so happens calls are coming from within the house, but you know.
I was going to say, the terrorist is someone who was probably just installed in a position recently. Also, we're back to White Claw.
Hey!
So, welcome everybody to DTF at your house.
Hi, this is really nice in here. I like what you're doing with the place.
Yeah. I mean, now that you're here all the time, there's really no excuse not to clean. So I'm really glad you're doing it. Yeah.
Pretty much, and you know, please, I brought it up. It's now the fucking Zoom stand-up that I'm doing, but like, you know, actually, it's gonna be what we talk about later, and maybe I'll just throw jokes in there. But like, you know, if you're wearing pants right now, you're probably doing it wrong.
I mean, I never wore pants. I think I own like a pair of pants, but they're like a tearaway.
I mean, I'm doing it wrong. I'm wearing pants. They're pajama pants, but still.
I mean, my whole life is either like loungewear from Fashion Nova, workout clothes, or I'm in full like burlesque regalia. Usually uncomfortable to sit in. So.
Yes, I can imagine.
Tail.
Yeah. Right, tail boa-y things. I'm wearing my Happy Birthday Darryl shirt.
Happy birthday several years ago.
Yeah, super good times. So yeah, it's just I literally in the dark grab old t-shirts to put on when I go to do yoga at home. And so then that's the shirt that I just picked up.
Doing great.
Yep, we're out here.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to DTF at your house. If for some reason this happens to be the first episode you've ever seen, which is wild.
I mean, hey, welcome. Please tell someone else.
Yeah. This is the greatest sex education comedy, sometimes game show in the known universe. We are your intrepid hosts. We have comedian Darryl Charles, everybody.
Hi. Yeah. You remember comedy? I tried to do it. Remember you would go outside and then like sit in a room with strangers while a man, typically a man, most likely a white man, talked about his penis and sweated in front of you as you paid way too much for drinks? Hey, I tried that. But I thought I was getting pretty good at it till, you know, the government took it away.
I did really miss the brownie sundae and helium. That's, you know, I could probably make that here.
True. I do miss just walking into comedy shows. And I think that is something that is gonna, I don't know. I gotta, to just go and watch comedy.
But you're also like the norm, right? You're Norm from Cheers because everyone's like, Darryl! Everyone.
Yeah, to some degree. Yeah, at one place, yes. Yeah, I guess Norm was like that only at Cheers. So, yeah. It was kind of like that, and that's gone. And I guess, I miss the people. Yeah, that's what I miss.
That's the ticket.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And then I am
Dr. Timaree. Yeah, hey, huh?
Very, very close to paying off my student loans, although at this point I may just not.
I don't think anybody should. Now that presidential candidate, I was going to say plural, but whatever, apparently Forbes has reported that they're talking about eradicating the student loan debt or some kind of forgiveness thing.
Which is rad. I just wish that it would have happened sooner because I'm like I was 2 months away from being done.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. I'm nowhere near 2 months, and I wouldn't even want my money back. If you just like, if we could just, we're good. Hey, man,
All
that's
right.
great.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If they were just like, all right, give me 2 more payments, and be like, all right, sure, But I guess that's unfair since you only have 2 more payments left.
I don't know. I don't want to have that, like, for lack of a better word, like boomer logic of like things were rough for me, therefore they have to be rough for the people after me.
It's not lack of a better word. Those are the perfect words.
Well, it's just like they have this. They're like, I paid off my student loans. I'm like, girl, you could pay off your student loans with a part-time job back then. You didn't need loans.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, it's like school cost like $2,000 for a year.
When my dad went to college, he made money playing poker. And that's
to pay for college?
School. And that's why I paid for school as a college kid. So these are not like big high stakes. Like it's not like he's like he's pretty cool, but like he's like country song cool. He's not like people would watch him on TV playing poker necessarily. He's country song cool. And so he's like okay at poker, and that's basically how he paid for college. And then like immediately got a job as soon as he was done and was like, what am I gonna do with all this money now that I'm getting paid this full-time rate? And I've been, living like a poor college kid, and now all of a sudden I make $30,000.
Yeah, it's a good
70 something. And then meanwhile,
you fast forward a couple of years, go through some key presidential decisions, and now college costs fucking in the 5 figures yearly.
All right.
Welcome to DTF, everybody. Hey, we like to talk about the current events in the world of sexuality and relationships. And we have compiled some articles to talk about for your enjoyment and seriously my edification. She has a doctorate in human sexuality, so I just essentially cash in all my friendships to friendships. It's almost like friendships. I like that. I cashed that all in, so she has to explain to me like a dummy how people who, have things that they want to put in other things or rub on things, how it works mentally as well as physically, and sometimes orally. You get it?
You know what I learned? That like this, I believe in American Sign Language, and maybe the person was lying to me, but that this is gay sex. Because it's like, boink, boink, boink.
Sure.
Not today.
Sure.
Maybe they were lying, but like, if that was...
And would it be this or that? I guess just gay sex in general, doesn't matter the gender, but this is the signal for two sockets trying to touch, or 2 plugs trying to, I get it, samesies, yes. That does make sense.
Call back.
Yeah, pretty much. That was back then.
So since you have, I think, a more substantive article than I do, should I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So this one's going to be fun because I'm going to read some science things to you, and then we will translate it. This is a fun invention. What I'm going to tell you about today is a mountable toilet system for personalized health monitoring via the analysis of excreta. All right?
Yes.
Darryl, would you like to translate what that means?
It's a machine toilet that analyzes your butthole and your poops and your pees. And it applies algorithms to excreta, which is like the stuff that comes out of you. I can't wait to do a number 3 in that toilet. I can't wait.
What is 3?
There are 3 potential things that could come out of those regions, and I just want to see how they figure that out. You have to work really hard for that thing.
Yeah. Okay. It took a long time. You just get taken it.
It's like in Kingpin when he's like, "Man, I milked your cow. It took a while, but she surely started going." And then he takes a big swig, and they're like, "We don't have a cow." And they're like, "We got a bull, though." And then Kingpin. You got time now. You should watch it. It's very funny.
It's true.
Farrelly Brothers type gross out humor.
So let's see. So this article, which I read in Nature Biomedical Engineering, It is about these technologies that are easily deployable hardware and software for the long-term analysis of excreta through data collection and models of human health. So it's a smart toilet. It's self-contained. It operates autonomously by leveraging pressure and motion sensors.
You get your dangles on and your full weight. You gotta kick your feet up, squatty potty it. Let it know you're in the building.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious if it works.
Ain't no hovering on this toilet.
Yeah. It analyzes the user's urine using a standard of care colorimetric assay that traces red, green, blue values from images of urinalysis strips, calculates the flow rate and volume of urine using computer vision as a Euroflowmeter.
Flowmeter. I like flowmeter. Euroflowmeter. Sounds like an insult. You're a flowmeter.
And it classifies stools according to the Bristol Stool Form Scale.
Damn right.
Deep learning with performance that is comparable to the performance of trained medical personnel. And then here, this is the big one. This is the thing that I made this article have to go in today. Each user of the toilet is identified through their fingerprints and distinctive features of their anaderm. And the data are securely stored and analyzed in an encrypted cloud server. So
that's my only problem with it.
So that means your fingerprints and your butthole
I'm surprised they don't just stick to buttholes. Like, are buttholes as distinctive as a fingerprint? It's like your toe print is also good. Your tongue print's another one. I just wonder, are buttholes like snowflakes?
I mean, but snowflakes aren't even that unique.
Yeah, they really aren't. It's just a but yeah. Like, yeah, our buttholes is identifiable as a fingerprint, where like only identical twins have the same butthole. Like, I wonder.
You have to look at like the swirl patterns.
Yeah, like the swirl pattern and like the starfish quality of it, like, you know, the ridges and the bumps. You know, it's like nipples are different, but everybody's got the little Stevie Wonders. You got the little brails on there. So like, yeah, you know, you get a good, when you get a good one and they raise up, that's good stuff right there. Anyway, I do wonder, like, is that also a fingerprint? Is that different, you know, per person? Because yeah, nipple size, depth, color, shading.
So here's the other thing about that, and this is going to get real gross, is that when you take your fingerprint, hands are kind of gross in general. They don't necessarily have you wash your hands before you do a fingerprint.
That's true.
But I don't know what they're analyzing and how close it's coming to your physical body, but I would not assume that every butthole coming towards that camera is at its freshest. Like,
sure. Well, if this toilet doesn't come with a bidet attachment, then somebody's fucking up.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, real missed opportunity. Because, like, yeah, definitely you should get a couple squirts in before you do the photo recognition.
That makes sense.
You know, you want to blast it clean before, you know, like at least like when you take a fingerprint, they should do like an alcohol swab of the fingers just to keep it, you know, clean, free of debris, so you get a clean print. So I'd imagine you just want to a couple of times, maybe with some alcohol. No, that sounds painful. But like, you know, you just want to get it in there. There's always like tiny cuts and tears, especially if you sit down, you know, too correctly and it spreads without getting the right your butt cheek spread without having your was it anadermis? Without having your anaderm properly, you know, warmed, one can introduce some slight tearing.
It's a terrible region, and by terrible I mean TAR, not like TRERR. Like, yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrific. Yeah.
But it is able to be torn, which is why it's super important that we use lube.
When you do any butt play, use lube. And I mean, you know, I get it. It works in a pinch, but spit is not lube. Spit is spit. Spit's not lube.
It dries
spit
up. It dries up pretty quick, and it's also got its own germs.
Right. Yes. So like, you know, surely it works in a pinch. But you know, so does blood. And we're not saying, and that's what we're saying, like, do not, you know, you want to avoid that because it's very thin tissue. And so, you know, that's why it feels so good. It's very thin. The nerves are right there. So you want to be careful with that thin stuff.
Yeah, because
my problem with that toilet.
Yeah.
Yes, lubrication definitely key in butt play, but my problem is the whole cloud storage thing. Like, and it speaks to a larger problem that the modern world is having with data security and fidelity. Well, not really the fidelity, but the security. Like, if I get one of those toilets, or if one of those toilets is installed in a fucking hospital or something, somewhere where it's like, come here, poop, and we'll tell you when you're gonna die. Which would be great. Like, you just, oh boy, Darryl, you need to stop going to Taco Bell because you got about 3 weeks, dog.
I wanted to tell me to the hour.
Yeah, right. Remember that old website, like whenwillyouDie.com? Like, it was like you would take a little test and it'd tell you the day and the time.
Yeah, I think I'm not even supposed to be here.
Pretty much. I mean, CNN said that I wouldn't be. And when I was born, where I was born, who I was, what I looked like, I wasn't supposed to make it to 21. And I need my money back. Like, you motherfuckers, I was sold a bill of goods, and now I'm here. And it was a lot better when I was 21, dog. Like, what's up? Anyway, no, like, why can't you do the storage at home? Like, I should have it in my house. It's my data, right? It's my data based on my butthole. So there are going to be some sort of pictures taken. Maybe the data that's saved is not a picture. It's just going to be the ones and zeros to translate my butthole to something the computer can use. But like, I should have it. And if it's my data and I own it, then it's on me to protect it, or whatever. But like, it should be my decision to hand it off to a doctor or to a set of medical people or whoever the fuck is maintaining the service on the cloud, because like, who knows where that is. And when their stuff gets breached because somebody kept the fucking password that came with the machine instead of changing it to something strong, which is how a lot of these fucking hacks happen, is like, that's my problem with that toilet. It's like, anything that's keeping biometric data and stuff should be saved to the device or in the home or whatever. Like, we need to really do some data security better.
It might be the case that that's how it is when this becomes like manufactured for like direct sale to consumers. I would imagine at this point that, because this article basically implies that this is, like a prototype that would be potentially possible for, I'm sure the very first people to buy it would actually be like military, right? Like, they are the ones that buy.
They typically, in America, typically all technology flows through the military first, and then we get dumbed down, less specific versions. Like, this what happened with GPS. But
like, by the time it gets into your house, hopefully then we've got like a lot of that stuff figured out. Yeah.
Unless you're Tom Cruise, because when he was about to have his first kid, he said he like bought an ultrasound machine, and the amount of time that he had put into using the ultrasound machine, he was technically an expert at it. Because he would. I'm pretty sure he said it on Oprah. This is a while ago, but I'm pretty sure he said it on Oprah.
He's real intense. He's a real intense dude.
I can imagine. Very intense, and no one. I would love to know the last time someone said, "Yo, shut the fuck up, man." You need people like that in your life, and I don't think he has them. A lot of very famous people don't have those people. Those people tend to fall away, or they know how their bread is buttered, so they shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I think you definitely need somebody to every once in a while be like, "Hey, yo, man, cut that shit out." That just keeps you humble, grounded, whatever.
So you don't turn into Alyssa Milano.
Right. But yeah, no, like they say that they want the toilet to be in cloud service stuff. And I'm just like, that's a great feature, but I really think the default should be it's saved to something there and you can have it. Like, whether it be a fucking USB for a thumb drive, or it has a hard drive on it that you can then access in some way, shape, or form. Because like, look at what's happening with the Nest stuff, right? So like, everybody's getting these Nest and Ring doorbells and shit like that, and that stuff is stored in the cloud, and then the company that owns the cloud just gives it to the United States, to police offices and the federal government with no oversight, like for no reason. They just hand it over, and that's how the fucking camera is built. if it was a sort of thing where it's like, and you can buy, cameras and stuff that will save to something in your home. And then in that case, the police have to come to you and ask for that data, and then you can hand it over. They don't just have it, and that protects liberty and whatever. But, I'm a fucking lib cup who just wants a giant government.
I want a giant government that works well. I don't want this one.
Yeah.
We got the people in charge of it actively don't want it to work and destroy it from the inside. I don't like that.
Yeah, that one kind of sucks. You really do want a true believer in the power of government, not a true believer in the power of government to enrich yourself and your friends.
I want a Leslie Knope in there.
I want a lesbian in there. You know what I mean? Hey, come on now. They're pretty trustworthy. Big, strong jaws and fingers. So
you've got a story.
I do. The story is from kcrw.com. I have no idea where the fuck that is or what those letters stand for.
Local TV station or something.
It sounds like a local TV station. And anyway, there was an interview with Brittany Blair, who's a clinical psychologist and sleep consultant at the Stanford University Center for Sleep Sciences and Medicine. She also specializes in sexual health, and she has a bunch of tips for how to live and thrive in this pre-apocalyptic future that we're living in, where you have to stay at home because of coronavirus. So it's relationship advice for couples who are living together amid the coronavirus. And there's a couple key points, and the one that I think definitely applies to DTF is going to be the last one I bring up. But one is to give compassion and space. Obviously, some people don't have the means to have a ton of space, but it is important to be able to get and have time to yourself and to give compassion to the people that you live with, because they are also in a weird space. Like, everybody is in a weird space now. Even if your home is fucking a palace, the fact that you can't go anywhere other than it is stressful. So, get some solo space. If you don't have solo space, find a solo activity you can do, especially if you're stuck around your partner or children or whatever. And another tip is to designate spots for specific activities. So if you're going to work from home, have a working space. It might be a spot in the kitchen or a dining room or whatever. And then when you have playtime, have a space for that. That can help break up the monotony. And then also some tips for domestic violence situations, because that can arise because the feeling of impotence and helplessness can be a trigger for shame in a lot of people, and especially in violent people, that shame can end up turning into anger, and that anger turns to hate, and hate is the path to the dark side. So you want to, be cognizant of that stuff. 1-800-799-SAFE is the National Domestic Violence Hotline, so do that. And also, exercise is a great way to blow off steam. So, you can go to sweatwithtimaree.com and get your daily workout in. It'll help you to not beat your kids or your spouse. And then the DTF, the most DTF part, I guess domestic violence is very DTF, am I right? Because I ain't gonna tell you twice, is sex. So in these stressful times, stress can cause a lot of people to find that their libido drops significantly. This article says 85% of people, stress causes libido to go down. But for 15% of people, it goes up, because that's how math works. Which is kind of funny, because any study, there's a plus or minus, because they know that scientists give a shit about truth. But anyway, one of the things that they say is one, regular sleep. Obviously, if you can get regular sleep, that's going to help your mood, your libido, all that stuff. But what's the other one? Oh, just force it. Is the short term. So it's like, what's the technical term she says? It is
just going through the motions, even if you're not initially in the mood.
Yeah, responsive desire. So it's like, start engaging with your partner and see if the desire will flow from that.
That's interesting. So the founder of my graduate program had a metaphor for that. And he was like, I'm not always hungry, And if somebody is like, are you hungry right now? And the answer is no. If they order food, by the time it shows up, I usually am.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And like, that is a very specific kind of advice, right? So that's assuming we just have to get this out of the way. That's assuming there's nothing coercive about it. That's assuming that like you and your partner are doing okay. Like, because I'm seeing the people I've seen, because you know where I'm at. I'm at Reddit, like relationships, and am I the asshole? You know where I live. But I'm seeing these ones of like, all right, so
that fucking upstairs downstairs one.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Anyway.
So I want to definitely get to that, but yeah, I'm seeing some of them where it's like we were already going to divorce, and then this happens.
Ooh.
We are in this house. And we are in this house.
That's the emoji. Just the what's her John Legend's wife? What the fuck is her name?
Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, the Chrissy Teigen gif, where she's just at the award show, like, yeah, like you can hear the. And that one, we were about to get divorced, and now we can't go outside, son. Ooh. That's when you just live in the backyard, dog, or wherever you call a backyard. I just sleep on the fire escape.
Yeah, just get a tent. You're fine, you know.
Yeah. It's like, I hope you got 2 bathrooms, dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sitting there can't stand this motherfucker, and they have the nerve to take a long shit.
And they put the toilet paper on the wrong direction or whatever. Like,
I don't even want to go into that.
But we should talk about the upstairs downstairs. Like, for those who are not as like obsessive about Reddit, am I the asshole, as we are.
As she is. Don't put me in your stuff.
All right. Well,
you're high up on my list of people who the algorithm knows I care about. So whenever you comment on that shit, it shows up in my life, and I know we'll end up talking about it. So
yeah, fair enough. All right. Yeah. So for this particular story, which I read this morning, so this will probably go up in a few days, and it'll be a dated story, so you will have to have seen it, or it'll be like, oh yeah, that old story. So there were actually a couple that I think are really funny. So the first one that I thought was super funny is that a couple was arguing because this guy bought a bunch of beans, and when he went to go make some, they were missing. And the girlfriend, his live-in girlfriend, was like, I have to hide them. She like dug a hole and buried them somewhere. And he was like, tell me where they are. She's like, no, I have to protect the beans.
And he was like, I just wanted some beans to make chili. I don't want all the beans. They had like 45 cans of beans. He was like, I just wanted 2 cans of beans from the chili. And she said, nah. And then he was like, and then she started talking about going to get more beans to keep
burying.
To keep burying in different spots.
She's like a squirrel, and she thinks like when in her brain it is more likely that people will break into their apartment and steal their beans than the fact that someone would be outside in the woods because they have nothing else to do right now, and then they're like, what is this?
Just digging holes.
What is this recently buried thing? I wonder if there's treasure or money.
Nah, she is definitely delicately taking the first 6 inches of the floor and scooping it away like it's grass before she digs her trench, fills it with beans, covers it, pulls that back, and then pulls some Shawshank Redemption shit where she takes the spare dirt and puts it in her pockets and then slowly trickles it out in a zigzag pattern, radiating away from the burial spot.
Yeah.
You'll never find them.
No, you don't get those beans. You don't get those beans.
Those beans are safe.
So there's that story. And then another very funny one that I read today was that this couple, they've been together for 4 years and they're married and they just bought a house. And as they were checking out the house, the wife joked that the upstairs was hers and it wasn't for him to come up there at all. And at first he was like, all right, whatever. But then it like literally was a thing. Like she literally would not let him come upstairs and made it like a whole point of contention. So he goes to Reddit and he's like, I don't know what's going on up there. It's not like it's a bad smell is radiating, like there's bodies.
But he did say that there is a smell that he thought was emanating from there, but it's very faint. So he thinks it just might be in his head, which means he's being gaslit. Whatever.
He said it smelled a little bit like when you know that there's just stacks of laundry somewhere. Like
clean laundry?
Yeah, like later in the thread, like deeper into the thread, he's like, yeah, it's, you know when you can just smell that there's a bunch of fabric in a room?
Sure.
Like, a bunch of stuff like that. And so he's like, I don't know what's going on up there. Like, if I went up there, it would just like ruin my marriage because she's very boundaried and triggered by very specific weird things and just will not engage on them at all. And he's like, I want to know what's up there. I want to know what people think is happening up there. But more than that, I don't want it to like ruin my marriage. And so he just is not going to the second floor of his house. And I was like, is she a cam girl? And she just doesn't want to tell you?
That is the nicest possible outcome.
That would be the best case scenario. But I mean,
the best case scenario is that she's a secret cam girl.
I literally couldn't think of any other explanations other than murderer, right? Like,
right. So... Or she has like a secret family or something. But like,
she's got like Jews hidden away from World War II or something up there. Like,
I mean, you know, in these days and times, you gotta bury your beans and keep people in the floorboards, dog. It's crazy out here.
That's where the beans are. That's where the beans are. They're up there. They're upstairs.
He's keeping beans in there. My first thing was, one, you know, I don't want to be a Monday morning quarterback, but dog, you fucked up in the beginning because from the time, like my you know, we have multiple bathrooms in my home. We're gentrifiers. But you know, when we got him, my wife was like, this is my bathroom. Don't fucking go in my bathroom. And so the first thing I did was go in her bathroom. I'm pretty sure I shit in her bathroom before she did. Because I just had to be like, we don't have secrets, goddammit. Like, I get it, it's yours, but I'm gonna walk in there and use it when I want to. And I hope you feel the same way about my bathroom. I was really contentious about it because I have to take a flight of steps before I can take a comfortable shit. But anyway, that's where he fucked up. And then secondly, I'd be like, okay, fine. You want the second floor? You're not allowed to be on the first floor.
Ooh.
See how you get there. I don't care. You better put a drop ladder in. You don't, if I can't go upstairs, you can't be downstairs. Ain't no,
Fireman's pole straight to
pretty much. You better get one of those, you know, what they say for like families, you get the little rolled up ladder. And so in case of a fire, you just push the little rolled up ladder out. Mm-hmm. Better buy one of those, tell her have a coconut smile, and get us some kind of a key lock for a window or some shit, because you ain't coming in the first floor. I'm changing the locks. I'm putting a door in on the staircase. It'd be a door that like it's just a door frame, like you could see around it, but fuck all of that. You better knock before you come in my floor of this house. So that's only fair. So yeah, he's wilding.
So they're managing.
They're figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, but really, I was like, I'm racking my brain thinking about it. And he had also said that the other thing that was flipping him out is that she had a secret Amazon account. So they have one that's shared, and she accidentally ordered video cameras on the shared account and did not realize that it was on their shared one because he asked about it. And she was like, what? And she's had a ton of deliveries that she just takes the boxes upstairs. And so
that shit would be hard to do with me. Like, nah, you better toss them bitches into a window. You can't get packages on my floor. You better pay me some kind of a storage fee.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I was thinking like, so what would you know, what is up there? And it could be, I mean, some people suggested she was making meth, and he was very offended because like, I grew up around meth and I know what it smells like.
Of course. And that's where that behavior came in. You can't go into my RV. You're right, Dad. Yeah, nah, I mean, you know, I think, you know, I've been married for a while. There is definitely room and space for secrets and individualism, right? Like, it's healthy, just like the article was saying, like, you need time and space away from each other. You need a life that is your own, because, you know, if you get too bogged down in the fact that you're together, then you'll find way more threats to that togetherness than if you are an individual and understand that you can be by yourself. yeah, if all you have is the intermixing of you and another person, everything will threaten that, and you'll, to my estimation, become a fucking crazy person. But like, I can't be in my house and you're gonna tell me I can't go somewhere. No, hell no. Hell no. Even, just to get a little personal, when when me and my wife moved into my first house, and we were talking about like, she was like, oh, we need an extra room because, you just want to have space to get away from people, and you also, want a room for guests if you have any. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And she was like, yeah, and plus if I'm mad at you, you need a place to go sleep. And I said, hold on a second.
Ooh.
We don't have to even like each other. I'm sleeping in my bed every night. This is my bed. If
Mm.
you don't like me, you can go somewhere. But ain't nobody kicking me out of my fucking room. It's my bed. We don't have to touch. I've been in a terrible relationship where we slept in the same bed and never touched each other. But I tell you what, you're not kicking me out of my bed. And it's got to be, to me, like, you need that kind of shit. It's like, we're in this relationship, like, we have to be able to work through stuff. You can't just say the second floor of this house is mine. Fuck you. We don't do that. Like, that's not, I wouldn't be in a relationship like that. I think that this person is obviously kind of okay with being told where they can and cannot go.
Well, I mean, I think another variable, and one of the variables I always look at on Reddits and relationship, like, am I the asshole things, is the ages when they provide it.
Oh, yes.
And these people have been together for 4 years. They met when they were freshmen and sophomore in college. So we are talking
Babies.
young, and does not probably have a ton of experience with living with partners. So
that's also true, yeah.
I'm gonna guess that this will never fly again after this.
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, it seems like this person was very much comfortable with the idea. Like, they were weirded out by it, but at no point when I saw the later things was like, yeah, to all the people who were telling me to just go up there, you're not helping the situation. And I'm like, if that's not helping the situation, dog, then I have no answers for you, because that's got to be part of it.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell them, like, hey, you got till Tuesday to do whatever the fuck you need to do, but I'm coming up there on Tuesday. Like,
Yeah, his concern was like, I'm less curious about what's up there than I am worried about ruining my relationship. And I think that the key there is that, like, you have to be able to talk about stuff, and it's completely fine for people to have boundaries about what they're willing to discuss, and to be able to identify that, like, this topic is challenging for me, this is triggering for me, this is difficult. But shutting down all conversation around it can't be an option long term. It's just not sustainable. It is a good idea to know what your triggers and boundaries are, so that you can identify that in this conversation, I'm going to be very, very defensive.
right.
I'm going to be slow to reveal information. I'm going to have a bunch of reactions to even having this conversation. But like, knowing what is wrong with you it does not excuse you from, like, having whatever reaction you want to. Like, knowing the source of your trauma, knowing the source of, like, whatever your neuroses is not an excuse.
To not have those discussions with a partner. Yeah.
Yeah. Mental illness is a perfectly reasonable explanation for a lot of the reasons that we do a lot of the things we do. It is, however, not an excuse for poor behavior. So you gotta own your own shit.
Yeah.
The second of your house and your beans, all your beans.
Exactly.
All your beans.
And so what the article was basically saying is, touch your butt every once in a while.
Touch a butt. Okay.
Touch your butt. Walk by, goose somebody, tweak a nipple. Don't do it hard. And I'm also, like Timaree was saying, we're assuming everything's cool. I'm assuming that there's some level of implied consent that is there. So, like, a random butt slap isn't a terrible triggering event, or, like, motherfucker, get your hands off me kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I think that, like, there is something to be said in, just for old time's sake, getting a handful of something and then going on about your business, because it just keeps the dopamine kind of flowing, and it keeps you on your toes. I always, you just want that. And everyone, maybe not everyone, it's 2020, the last year, but not everyone, but, like, it's a good feeling to be objectified by someone who you care about, and also objectify you know. And so like there's that good feeling in it. So like if nothing but to help your partner's ego, slap a ass.
Yeah, I think that like in these strange times, it is completely understandable that like a stress response means that like when you're looking at your like hierarchy of needs and you got your Maslow thing and like all that kind of stuff, like libido for many people does not fall on the lower levels of like survival. For some
You were doing a gay orgy.
yeah, gay
just now.
sex. Yeah, for the
You were
people
doing
who
like
hearing the audio, it doesn't make
gay
sense.
and poly, dog. Gay and poly.
Oh, okay. Group sex. Okay.
Sure.
For a lot of people, like, so on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you got your like base stuff of like shelter and food and like I will not, you know, like die in the street. And then after that, I can start getting higher order needs met and higher order and higher order. And for some people, sexuality exists in those higher ones because it's a, you know, it's about the relationship and it's about the emotions. And if you're already like overwhelmed, it's hard to have space for that stuff. But for other people, it's actually down on the lower stuff, and just like getting that release and getting that stress out and having that like much more primal experience of just de-stressing. It's a lot like a workout in that way, right? And if you're not used to one, maybe try out the other, I guess. So, you know, if you're not used to working out in your house, now's a good time to start.
And an easy way to start is to go to sweatwithtimaree.com.
Also, yes. But yeah, if, you know, like if you're used to for your romance to be like, we go out somewhere and we have this nice time and there's like all of this context in which I feel that I'm able to like chill out and it feels special and luxurious and I need to have these like emotional needs taken care of first. Totally cool. But like within the realm of what is possible right now. Right. So like, being able to make tiny little dates in your house and being able to have like whatever the scaled down version is of what would make you happy. So you can't necessarily go on a vacation, but you can move the shit around in your living room so it looks like a different living room.
Yeah.
Pretend you're in a different place, you know?
Yeah, or you can just make a date to watch a movie as opposed to being like, hey, the TV's on, what do you want to watch? Like just try to make it a little special. Eat at a dinner table, you know, and call it a date.
Yeah.
And then you know, act as if you're gonna fuck in the bathroom of this restaurant that is just your house.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, you know. But while sheltered in place, you should still be coming.
Yeah, lean into the fact that it's wartime and that you're having like secret wartime sex.
There you go.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You replay some of that Civil War strife where it's like, you know, brothers against brothers, except those brothers have sex. Look, the metaphor is doesn't have to be good, but you get where I'm coming from.
Just, I think it's about like, we have to always remind people to prioritize sex and prioritize it because sex is actually too often considered a luxury good in our culture, right? Like, so you're only able to have it if you have like enough money and enough, like you have the right jobs and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're somehow irresponsible for being a sexual being.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're all sexual beings because that's why there's so many people here.
Yeah, it's a big piece of it. And we, you know, we don't value pleasure unless it's like rare and difficult to obtain and related to money and having been earned or proof of some kind of other thing. So again, like just like getting back down to the idea that like pleasure is valuable intrinsically, and taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves pleasure is an important part of being a creature that has a body that exists in the world. So whatever that pleasure is for you, bubble baths, like rubbing lotion into your legs, whatever makes you happy, you know?
Yeah, totally. Light a candle before you put on lotion. Whatever it takes. Just be happy, man.
Light a candle. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, be happy. You know, sometimes you just have to manufacture your joy. And especially in a day and age where we're not, the ecosystem of paying someone to make you happy has been drastically changed. Sometimes you just have to take that extra time and effort to make things special for yourself. Yeah, which is why, like, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see some love letters to some ribs, because hey, you got to make it special, dog.
So on that note, I guess those are our stories for this week. So you have
Yeah.
joined us for DTF
Thank
in
you.
your house.
Thank
Woo!
you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, live, laugh, love, the blah, the blah, the blah. Yes, Venmos. Let's let's plug that, because isn't that the reason anyone does anything?
Am I
It's
doing it the right way?
to satisfy the Venmo people.
Is this the correct way to hold it? I can never tell.
Oh, I can see it fine, but I feel like I'm backwards, but you're
Okay.
not.
I think we're backwards to ourselves. Okay, yeah. But if you like
Whoosh.
this stuff, you can Venmo us. We got a couple real nice donations from our last episode. So shout out to the people.
We really did. I just saw them. Thank y'all. That is so goddamn nice.
Right? There are some really, really wonderful people out here.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So you can Venmo me at Timaree -SEHMIT. Timaree is a weird name and Schmidt is spelled weird. So Timaree -SEHMIT.
I'm covering up the money because someone gave me money. But yeah, at Darryl_Charles, DARRYL, which apparently is a weird spelling. It kind of explains why I've never had a personalized keychain. So yeah, DARRYL_CHARLES. Please, yeah, neither one of us have had specialized keychains, even though you tend to get specialized things given to you, gifted to you.
I get panda things given to me a lot.
That's also true. I gave her a panda cup. It's very, very cute.
It's so cute. There's a little panda in the bottom of the cup and you drink your coffee. And it's like, oh, little panda. Were you in there the whole time drowned? Like, oh no.
Just waiting for people to walk away so they could fuck. That's what that panda was doing.
Facts. Finally, pandas got privacy. Everybody always talking like pandas are notoriously low libido. And the fact is they actually have voracious sexual appetites in the wild. The problem is that we have disrupted all of their mating strategies in the wild. And then if you were to exist in the parameters of a zoo, you wouldn't want to fuck in front of a bunch of people either, unless you were.
This is not the right time to be bringing it up. Remember, you used to be free and walking around, and then your libido was up. Now you're stuck in the house with just a bunch of cameras looking at you. You want to fuck now, do you? Huh? Please, just start rubbing it and see what happens. Maybe you'll like it. This looks like a sexy room you got in there. Why don't you get that, what is that? Is that a book? I'm sure you could fuck it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for joining us for DTF. All right. We'll be back next week. Woo!
Bye.